Hello, I'm about to start a new project. I built all these garden beds about 5 to 6 years ago. I used untreated wood because I didn't want any chemicals leaching into the soil. But with untreated wood, they do not last very long. I'm actually very pleased that they lasted as long as they did. They're starting to rot and pull away. So I'm going to be redoing all of this. I was fortunate enough just recently to come across some hoop house supplies. So while I'm doing all of this, it's a good chance to completely redesign all this. All the river rocks need to be pulled up, all the rotten wood needs to be pulled up, all the dirt needs to be moved. So this is going to be a bigger project. So stick around as I work on this. The nighttime temperatures lately has been around 0 degrees, but it's supposed to be near 50 as daytime highs this week, so that's why I'm getting out here and actually getting into my garden. Because all of that is going to be torn up and some of the cool crops need to go ahead and be planted, I'm going to make a temporary small hoop house for the cool weather crops and just plant them in containers. All I've done is taken 3 2x4s and cut one in half, and now I'm going to screw it together into a rectangle. Now that I have the base put together, I'm going to put these pipe straps all along the base, right up about here. Since this mini hoop house is very temporary, I didn't want to use a lot of supplies. So I used all the pipe straps near the very top of the boards. This allows the maximum amount of leverage to support the PVC pipes that go over it without having to use 2 per end. Now I've got the PVC pipe on it and the plastic over it. It is very temporary, so I didn't want to permanently attach anything because I'll eventually be taking all this down once I get the main hoop house up. The ground is still very frozen, so we couldn't get all of the gravels up today. We'll have to come back later to do that. Has been warm enough today for my honeybees to get out. Gave them some sugar water. This is my aggressive hive, so I'm leery about getting too close. It's been in the near 0 every night for the past week, and today it's in the 40s. So they get to come out and have a break and go to the bathroom because honeybees will not use the bathroom in their hive. It's 43 degrees out this morning, so I'm hoping I can do a little bit more on this. I gotta check to see if the ground's still frozen or if I can actually start moving some stuff. The honeybees got out today. Today I'm going to work on starting to move all this fencing. I'm going to redesign all of my garden area. And this is just the first step. I can't fully do this side yet because I have perennials planted in that raised bed and also in that raised bed. So until I'm able to transplant those, I'm not going to be able to straighten that side up the way I want to. But I have got this side squared up. For now, I just use my pavers to square off the corners. But once I start building my raised beds, then I will square it better, and then I will also tighten all these back up. I had to loosen them in order to move them. If you notice, it looks like there's a raised bed there. There are raspberries planted there, but with the redesigning of my garden space, I'm going to be transplanting those. I just can't do it until the soil warms up a little bit more. I'm also going to be framing in my greenhouse and bringing this side out some. That's why all that's got to go. So it'll give me a little bit more shelf space inside. It's still January, but the weather's been warm enough lately that hopefully that frozen layer that we couldn't get before is now thawed well. So we're going to continue our work. Because this isn't the proper time of the year in order to transplant this saffron, I wanted to try to move it with as little disturbances to the roots as possible. So I started out trying to get my shovel a lot underneath of them, but the soil was actually so soft that I wasn't able to do it that way. So I just switched over to my trusty little trowel and started digging them up individually. I place them in the garden bed, try not to disturb the roots, and then I pull the soil up around them. If you see, the bottoms are a little bit yellow. That's from where they were in the soil before. So I needed to bring the level of the soil up to where they started turning green to try to disturb them as little as possible in this transplant. Place them about 6 inches apart, and you can stagger them too. The temperature was starting to drop, so here I decided to do more at one time. So I just leveled out a square area and started placing them in the right places. After I had them all set up, then I would go back and cover them all with the soil. Yesterday it was around 30 degrees outside. Tomorrow it's supposed to be around 30 degrees outside. But today for my birthday it's supposed to be 50. So I'm going to be outside. I'm going to work on placing these garden beds here. I'm going to put two 4x4 square garden beds. I wanted to do a long one, but because of the drop through here, I just figured it would be easier to put two 4x4 beds instead of one 4x12. I'll get less garden space, but I'll also have more walkways and be able to just get around things a little more easily. I've already cut 4 of my boards, 4 feet long each, and now I'm about ready to put them together. Because these are narrow boards and securing into the end grain into the end grain of some wood is not very secure, I want to use some long screws, and in order to make a very straight pre-drilled hole, I'm using these corner clamps to lock it into place so the wood will not move while I do the pre-drilling. Some of these boards were a little bit warped, so using these clamps really helped keep things straight while I got things put together. It's a little bit muddy out. Now that this bed is squared, leveled, it's ready for the cardboard bottom and to be filled. Well, the temperature is starting to drop, so I wasn't able to get those completely filled, but I'm pretty satisfied with the fact I was able to get them set up today. My hoop house will be going right here, so we've been using all the dirt from the old beds to fill the new beds. So far we've been able to move 2 of them. We still have a lot more that we can use. It is a beautiful 70-degree day today. It's kind of breezy. So I wanted to finish up my raised beds that I have. I only need a little bit more left to fill it up. So I'm going to be sifting this dirt and getting all of these weed roots and rocks and things out of it so that I can finish my beds. It's pretty windy today, so hopefully you can hear me. A couple of years ago, I got a load of topsoil delivered, and one of the unwelcome visitors that I got was the roots of a very invasive ivy that I've been dealing with the past few years. This is what the roots look like as we've been filtering it out. The problem with these is that a root this small, my camera will focus in on it, can actually sprout and start growing. Yeah, it's not wanting to focus. But this actually has little sprouts on it, and that's how tiny it is. So you have to be very diligent as things begin to grow to pick all these out as they come up. Even though this isn't the right time of the year for saffron to be transplanted, I'm still needing to move it. But this is part of my old saffron bed, and they need to be divided anyways. So this is actually a good opportunity to be able to do splits with these. Saffrons are bulbs. This is what one of the clusters looks like. As you can see, all the new little bulbs that are growing, but they're starting to get crowded out. So I'm going to space these out, and I'll show you how I do that. Taking that cluster and just kind of spread them out in this row, just so they have a little bit more room. And then I'm just going to push some dirt over them. I'm all about easy gardening and fun gardening. I don't think gardening should be a lot of work. If your gardening is making you feel like it's a job or a duty or heavy work, then you should probably change how you do your gardening, because gardening should be enjoyable for everybody that likes to be outside. When you dig up your bulbs and you find these shoots, these very heavy, thick shoots coming out of the bulb, those are flowering bulbs that are mature. So when you're planting these, oops, where'd it go? Oh, there they are. When you're planting these, be careful with those, because those are the ones that are going to give you the saffron. I wanted to get all the saffron transplanted today, but I just don't have time. I've got a lot of stuff that I got to get done over the next couple weeks. So I'm going to call this the end of part 1 to my garden makeover, so that I can go ahead and finish the video and get it posted. It may be a couple weeks before I'm able to get another video posted, but I'm very pleased at how things are looking. I got all the beds filled with dirt and prepped and ready for planting. The pathways, since they're just for looks, that's going to be like one of the last things I do. I'm more interested in being able to grow my food and flowers than pathways. So stick around. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe and hit the like button and leave a comment. If you have any questions, I do my best to respond to every comment. Thank you.